Hello, welcome back, Steve's Retirement Corner. How my Social Security has changed since I've retired. Hey man, I hope everybody had a great Father's Day yesterday. It was we don't do a whole lot for them around here. Most things we don't do a whole lot for. Just kind of sit around and chat and meet up with people, and just kind of have a smooth day out of it. Maybe get a burger or something. I didn't get a chance to on Friday's video, but I apologize for that. But anyways, this video comes straight from daggone comments and questions I got off that last video I made. I read them all. I'm always slow in replying to them. It's just not something I do a lot. I make a couple of videos and I spend 10 or 15 minutes once or twice a week trying to catch up. I'm not the best example of a YouTube creator, I can give you that much. But anyways, so I want to thank them two people because, hey man, when every question and comment I get gives me a minute to think, gives me something to think about, gives me something to check on, to investigate. It kind of reminds me of things. But Mary Albert, she was one that had a question about me, about my Social Security, when I planned and why and junk like that. Little basic things. And then 280 Zone, he reminded me to check with my accountant before I rolled that 401 because of tax consequences. And last year I made a playlist with kind of that kind of all the big topics in retirement, Social Security, health insurance, my distributions. Even made a video about how I backed into retirement. And I mean, if you get a chance, you can check it out. It's on my homepage. I think it's called Steve's Retirement Check Sheet. Just kind of give you the lowdown and what I'm dealing with, all the whys and hows and stuff. I made my decision. Because every retirement is different, man. Retirement's personal, man. Everything about it. No two of them are alike. That's why the comparison stuff really doesn't work. Hey man, I'm as guilty as anybody else about doing it. I did it all the time. I think it's natural, but don't put too much stock in it. You could retire with $1 million, and I can retire the same day with $1 million, man. I could run out in 6 weeks. You could double yours. There's just so many variables you can't compare the two. You just can't. Lifestyle, comfort, you just can't. But anyway, so in looking at Mary's comment, I was wanted to update my Social Security numbers because they change every year. So I went back and I pulled out my paperwork, and that's a thing too. All your numbers are different, man. They constantly change. You have to constantly update your stuff. Retirement is not really a long-term plan as much as it is a year-to-year plan. And it's like that inflation, I mean, it's personal. My inflation ain't what yours is, and it might not change anything I do this year, but next year it might change it a whole lot because we don't buy the same stuff that you do. You don't, you don't go to the same places we go. There's just nothing set in stone in retirement. You have to be able to think on the fly and adjust with it. But so I figured I'd go ahead and once I went on the website there and got my numbers off, and I just figured how much it's changed. And I ain't made no money, man, since I retired, since 23. Well, since 22 last year I got any money. I think they paid me in 23 for my vacations that were due to me. So that's the only earned money I've made since I have retired, except for this little channel here. And I don't make enough down here hardly to cover a dinner out. I think I clear about $140 is my average in the past 2 years. So it's just for fun to me, Doc. A lot of stuff I I don't even monetize, to be honest with you. And I don't make but 8 videos a month, so I ain't making a lot to begin with. So, but in 2022 was my last year of working, and I at that time I got the cheat sheet here. I don't know all this in my head, but at that time at 62, they was projecting me to make $1,900 a month in Social Security. At 67, it was projecting me to make $2,700. That video I did last year for that playlist about my Social Security it was $3,100 at 67, because I just checked it before then, and at 62 it was $2,200. And I ain't been checked it for this year, see if it's updated any. And at 62 this year it's right at $2,300. It's $2 short. And at 67 it's right at $3,200, a little over $3,200. But I've since changed, man. That first year when I first retired, I figured I'd retire, take Social Security at 65. That was my plan. And but once I got into retirement, I said, hey man, my 401 gives me money every year for 10 years. That makes me 67. You know, why not go ahead and push it back? But then I got to thinking, you know, me and the baby were born the same year. I was born at the beginning of the year. She was born towards the end of the year. So I'm thinking, why not just wait till the following year and both of us start off at the same time taking Social Security. Start the new year off. That puts me right at 68 and puts her still at 67. That's the reason I moved it. I don't look for daggone getting the most money. I don't look for a break-even point. I don't look for any of that junk. I just, you know, I'm kind of doing it by feel. I ain't gonna lie. You know, I look at our situation at the time. If I need it, I'll take it at 62 or 65. If I don't, then 68's my goal. How's that? It's not when I plan to take it, it's my goal. It could be any time. I don't think it's going to back up any to 70. You know, 68's plenty long enough. 67, you know, I could take it. And I might, very well might. Ain't nothing wrote in stone, man. Everything about my retirement is fluid. It's a game time decision based on our situation at the time. But anyways, but actually, instead of being 3,200, you know, I'll be 68, so it'd be 3,500. You take half of that for the baby, and we're talking $5,000 a month, and I ain't even rolled out of bed. You know, that's how I can live on Social Security. My Social Security is extremely outsized, and I didn't make that much on one job. It's because since I graduated high school, I've always had more than one job. Just about always, whether it was an actual part-time job or whether it was a knock-around job. Heck, at 19, man, I had 2 full-timers. I worked a warehouse during the day, and in the evening and overnight I worked a daggone styrofoam plant. It made styrofoam insulation. So, I mean, now we didn't make much, but you put the 2 full-timers together, man, and I brought home pretty good money. That was at 19. So, you know, my number's kind of, it's kind of janky because of that. I'm actually getting Social Security for working 2 jobs, not one. And the baby, when she first got pregnant, we kind of sat down and discussed it. I kind of wanted her to stay at the house. I thought that was a good idea, and she agreed. So, you know, I had to step it up, and I've always had more than one job. So my numbers are skewed. It's kind of like I said, it's taking in multiple jobs instead of just one job. And she doesn't have enough quarters to qualify. So you know, and just to show you how much I know about finance. That's why you don't need to listen to the dang thing I say. I was in my 40s before I realized that she could even get Social Security. I had no idea. I'm thinking, how? She don't qualify. She ain't worked for a couple years. I had no idea she could draw off of mine. But you cut mine in half, man. I mean, that's pretty good money for her. for us. And you, on top of that, you throw in about 20 grand from a pension. I think it's going to be about 17 if you round it 20. I mean, we're hitting over 80 grand a year, and I ain't even touched a dollar I got in the bank. That's how we're able to increase our wage to cover inflation and stuff like that. You know, it ain't but a little over 7 years before I can draw that. Shorter if I take 62 or 65. You know, I don't know, man. It just works out that way. It wasn't planned that way. You look at that daggone playlist if you get a chance, and you'll see how it all it's dictated to me, and it works out that way. But you know, I mean, and you go on the Social Security website, ssa.gov, I believe it is, and they have a calculator in there. You can punch in 0 future earnings. That's what I do, and that's where I come up with these numbers. You know, and that's in today's dollars. They don't count if it gets inflated down the road. So, I mean, right now, if I was on Social Security, man, I mean, I think I live good now, man. We'd be really living good. But anyways, keep an eye on your numbers. You got to know your numbers, and you got to know how they work in your plan for you. What it does for somebody else don't make no big old difference. No daggone difference at all. It's just something to learn from, I guess. And that's what them comments and questions do for me. They keep me on my toes and keep me pointed in the right direction. I need all the daggone help I can get. I about wore the baby out with her giving me all the help. But anyways, man, y'all take care of yourselves. Try to make it a good week if you can. It's going to rain here all week. Summer's finally here. 90 degrees, high humidity, and rain in the afternoon every day. But it's going to rain all day today. But y'all take care, and we'll talk to y'all later.